St. Philip's kiddos. I am so glad that you're here with me today to do Children's Chapel. We are going to be talking about how we prepare our lives and our hearts for Christmas. But first, let's start off with our Children's Creed. Join Lexi and I believe in God above. I believe in Jesus' love. I believe His Spirit too comes to teach me what to do. I believe that I can be true and loving, Lord, like Thee. It's December, so it's officially getting close to Christmas and Advent has begun. Did you know that people in Japan eat KFC on Christmas Eve? Yeah, Kentucky Fried Chicken. And did you know in Venezuela, some people roller skate to their Christmas service? And in Germany, some families hide a real pickle in their Christmas tree, and the kid who finds it gets an extra present. These are all traditions. In my family, we're Italian, so we have a huge feast on Christmas Eve that consists of 7 different fish dishes. These are all family traditions, things you do year after year after year. So what are some of the Christmas traditions that you look forward to doing at Christmas time in your family? Let's see what some of our St. Philip's kids have to say.
My favorite Christmas tradition is having my family Christmas party. My favorite tradition to do at Christmas is to eat cupcakes because Jesus was born at that day. One of my favorite things to do at Christmas time is to make Christmas cookies. I love watching Christmas at Christmas time.
What do you like to do at Christmas?
Decorating the tree, doing the nutcrackers, baking cookies, playing with the snowman.
We do a lot to prepare for Christmas. Whether it's decorating our house or continuing a tradition with our family, there is no doubt that Christmas takes a lot of planning. Our video today is going to talk about how God made special plans for the first Christmas. But to understand God's plan, we actually have to go way back to the beginning when God created Adam and Eve. Does anyone remember what bad choice Adam and Eve made? Yep, they chose to disobey God, and that started some very bad things in the world. But, as always, God has a rescue plan. Let's watch to see what it is.
God's story, preparing for Jesus. So part of God's story is about how He prepared us for Jesus, and it begins like this. Remember when God created a perfect garden? He then created a perfect family, Adam and Eve, to live in the garden with Him forever. He trusted them with life as long as they obeyed one rule. Unfortunately, Adam and Eve didn't trust God, and they disobeyed. Now Adam, Eve, everyone would have to die, separating us from God forever. This made God very sad. But He had a plan. He knew that He could still save His people through a great rescue. Jesus. Jesus was a big deal. And just like any big deal, people had to get ready for Him. It's like before a big movie comes out, you watch the previews so you know what's coming. Well, Jesus was such a big deal that His previews started thousands of years before He came. The first preview is about a man named Abraham. God promised to make Abraham the father of God's special family. God gave Abraham one special son to start the family, Isaac. Now Abraham knew that one day he would have to die because of what happened in the garden. Every time Abraham did something wrong, God could have said, "Okay, because you've done this bad thing, you now have to die." But He didn't. Instead, God said, "How about killing a lamb instead? It can die so you don't have to." "Thank you," said Abraham. But one day, God asked Abraham to do something different. God said, "Okay, because you've done this bad thing, your son Isaac has to die." This made Abraham very sad. But he decided to trust Him anyway, even though this meant that he would never have the giant family God had promised. When Isaac asked where the sacrifice was, Abraham said, "God will provide it." And guess what? He did! A ram died so Isaac didn't have to. The second preview happened hundreds of years later. Abraham's family, the Israelites, had gotten huge, but they were stuck as slaves in Egypt under a mean king called Pharaoh. He would not let the Israelites leave, so God said, "Okay, because Pharaoh has done this bad thing, every firstborn son in the land of Egypt has to die." The bad news was this meant that the Israelite sons would have to die along with the Egyptian sons. But the good news was God, once again, created a rescue plan. God said, "Anyone who kills a lamb and paints the blood on their door will be saved. The destroyer will pass over your house." The lambs died so the sons didn't have to. Over and over again, when there was trouble, God sent a sheep to die so his people didn't have to. Until finally, God revealed his final rescue plan. The previews were over. It was time for the feature presentation. At last, Jesus the rescuer came. He lived on earth just like us, but then he died to take away the punishment we deserved. Jesus died so we don't have to. But guess what else? Jesus didn't stay dead like the sheep. He came back to life and went up to heaven. Now we can be close to God again. And one day, he'll recreate a perfect world for God's whole family to live in forever. Just like the original garden, but better. And that's the story of how God prepared us for Jesus. So in case you missed it, here's the quick version. Death separated us from God. God planned a great rescue. He gave us previews. A ram died so Isaac didn't have to. Lambs died so the Israelite sons didn't have to. Finally, Jesus died so we don't have to. But Jesus came back to life. Now death can't separate us from God. And that's a part of God's story.
Today we are going to decorate a Christmas tree together, but it may end up looking kind of goofy. Before we start, think about something that makes you think of Christmas. It could be anything. Now, let's draw a big Christmas tree on our paper. You can pause the video and ask your parents to help you. Try to make it look like this. Well, you might be a better artist than I am, but try to make it as big as the paper is. When I say go, decorate your Christmas tree with as many things as you can. But there's one rule. You have to draw them with your eyes closed. All right, let's get started. Get your markers ready. Close your eyes and don't peek. And go. I'll put some Christmas tunes on for you to inspire you. Keep your eyes closed. Couple more seconds. All right, let's see what you got. Let's take a look and see how many things we can identify. Wow, Lexi, I see some Christmas balls and some candy canes. I see a heart. What's that supposed to be up at the top?
I tried to make a star.
A star. That was a good try. Anna, I see your attempt at a star.
Yeah.
Candy canes, Christmas balls, some people. Oh, a present under the tree. That was pretty good.
And then this is hot cocoa in the tree, apparently.
Oh, hot
Trying to do
cocoa
it
in
right
the
here.
tree.
In the tree.
Well, that was fun. Let us close in scripture. You could even write the scripture on the back of your Christmas tree to remind yourself that even when things are hard, God has a good plan for the world and a good plan for you. See y'all next time.
For a child is born to us, a son given to us. The government will rest on his shoulders, and he will be called Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, Prince of Peace. Isaiah 9:6.